Hey guys, so today I'm going to be putting in the turn signals after I did my flat fenders. When I did the flat fenders, obviously that deleted out both turn signals, both the side marker and the front turn signals, so I had to do something to put turn signals back in. So what I've done is I've bought some JK turn signals to put in and mount them in a CJ style location to go on the front grille instead of up on the fender. So you can see I've already done one side. It's got a smoke lens on it. It looks pretty good when it's turned on. It also works as a parking light. But I'm going to do this side, and I'll kind of go through step by step how I'm going to do it and take a little bit of video along the way. First thing I had to do was take off my factory Jeep fog lamps because they were going to be in the way. And I'm making a stubby bumper for it anyway, so they weren't going to have a place to be. So I went ahead and took them off. The next thing I'm going to do is take that headlight out so I can kind of access back there and get the wires pulled through properly. I'm going to kind of show you how I'm going to get everything made up. First, a few of the things that you'll need to get the job done. You'll need a decent drill and a hole saw. If you're going to use these turn signals, these JK turn signals, then you're going to need a 3 1/8 minimum. That's a 3-inch hole saw, but I'm going to use my Dremel, which you'll also need to bore the hole out a little bit more after I drill it. You'll need that to knock down any burrs and to get the metal ready for a light coat of paint. That way it isn't raw metal. You'll need a tape measure to measure out where you're going to put the light. You'll need some tape. Masking tape works best. All I have was some duct tape, so I'm going to use some duct tape, and that's just to mark the location and to keep any metal shavings from popping out too far when you're drilling your hole. It just makes a cleaner hole. I'm going to need a razor knife to make this JK plug fit. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And then just the Torx to take the headlight out. And that should be about all I need. You may need a screwdriver or something like that just to pry stuff with, but I should be able to get it all done with that. That's all I needed yesterday. And of course a pen or a Sharpie to mark the hole. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out that headlight just so I can get back there and pull those wires through to the proper location. And by wires, I mean these wires coming from the old turn signals. And because I am going to retain that side marker light, whoops, that's not the right one. Here we go. I am going to retain the small side marker light. It's just not going to be visible. And that's just to help with the blinker relay situation, which we'll talk about later on as well. To make the blinkers not flash fast. Anytime you're adding these LEDs, your blinkers are going to flash faster because it doesn't pull enough load, so the relay thinks you have a blown bulb, and so it blinks fast. If you're using regular LEDs on these TJs, regular LEDs are just 2-wire, and these blinkers are 3-wire, so your regular one's not going to work, not without modifying the wiring. But with these JK signals, they're designed for 3-wire, so these will work fine. I'll still get the fast blink because of my relay, but I'll show you how you can fix that as well. So let me get that headlight out and get things marked up, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, taking out the headlight's easy. All you have to do is take the beauty ring off, which is 3 Torx screws, and it pops out. The headlight has a little ring that holds it in place. Just 4 more Torx screws, as you can see there, and then it just unplugs with just a little 3-plug plug. Look in here and you kind of see the adjuster ring and all that. It just pops right in there. Now that I got that out, I can see down in there when I drill the hole, and I can see kind of where you can see a hole back there where I'll pull the wires through, and everything will be fine. So let me tape up the front and mark my location, and we'll get to drilling the hole. Alright, once you get it taped up and you mark your spot, it's important, you see I marked the wrong spot originally, it's important to measure 10 different times, because once you start cutting this, it's done. But you do want to drill a pilot hole, because your arbor, especially at 3 inches or bigger, is going to have a pretty big bit, and I would center punch that and then drill some pilot holes to make sure that you're on exactly where it needs to be. You'll want some sort of lubricant to help the the hole saw eat through that pretty quickly, so you don't burn up your saw too quickly. And you don't, cordless saw, even I've got some pretty nice Hitachi 18-volt drivers and drills. Just go ahead and get a corded drill, a decent 7, 8, 9 amp drill, and to drill through it, something with a handle, because when that thing first bites, it's going to kick sideways on you, and you could definitely hurt your wrist or something if you're not used to that, especially if you have an aggressive hole saw, which I do. So I'm going to cut that hole, and then we'll see what that looks like. One more thing, you should use gloves and eye protection, because that hole saw will throw some small splinters of metal at you. Alright, that is what the point of no return looks like. You can see it. The hole saw did its job, made a perfect 3-inch hole. Of course, I needed a perfect 3 1/8-inch hole, so I'm going to need to bore that out a little bit with my Dremel. I have some grinding wheel for the Dremel. I'll grind that out a little bit. I will also have to make 3 small slits, one here, here, and here, because the back of this light has little locator pins in it, not pins, but little locator fins, really, that will cause this light to put it go in exactly as it's supposed to. So I'll use my Dremel to do that with a cutting wheel. So let me do that, and then I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Alright, so I've just about got the hole ground out and the little notches cut. So now I'm going to go ahead and modify these two plugs to mate up to one another. So as you can see, the stock TJ light is 3-wire, just a round plug. The JK is also 3-wire and a round plug, but they are definitely different sizes. One won't fit the other. However, the 3 prongs and the male and the female ends actually match up. So if I can get this male to go into this female and fit, then they pretty much will squeeze together. Actually, I don't want to go into that. I want this male to go into this female. That gives you a little bit better idea of what I'm talking about there. So as you can see, that male is just too wide. So what I did on the other one was cut, let me show you, this little nub right here, I cut it off, cut it down flat. Cut just a hair off of this side, and then it fit down in there. Problem is it wouldn't push far enough down in there to engage the 3 male prongs. So all I did was I went and I cut part of this off to where it engaged down in there. And luckily, when you do that, it'll engage not only far enough down in there, but it'll also stick because it's such a tight fit. And it's got this little rubber boot right here that squeezes down in there pretty good, about halfway. That will also make it will stick in there. So you can make these fit. They are compatible. You just have to do a little bit of tinkering with it. I just use a razor knife that's pretty soft plastic, and it works. So that's how I'm going to do it. I did the other side. It works. So let me go ahead and get these two carved up, and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. All right, so that's what it looks like all plugged up. I'll just kind of show you the modifications I made. You can see how it fits together. Let me turn off the lights and get it unplugged. Okay. As you can see, if it'll focus, I cut just a little bit of the female end off. Right there. There it goes. Just a little bit, maybe less than a 1/16 of an inch. Probably a 1/16 of an inch. And then you can see what I did here. I shaved the side there. I shaved the side that had that notch. Just take it slow and shave a little bit at a time until it has a nice tight fit that won't come loose. That fit's not going to come loose, especially back there behind the grill where it's got nothing acting on it, and it's going to really see no weather or anything like that. I'll put a little dielectric grease in it to make sure that, you know, there's no corrosion or anything, but it's going to fit fine. It's going to hold. There's going to be no stresses on it, and that's a quick way to make that JK light fit your TJ, and it's a cheap way to get 3-wire LEDs, because these 2 LED lights off Amazon were, I can't remember, $18 for the pair, I think, something like that, and that was shipped, so fairly cheap. So let me get them mounted up, and that will be pretty much it. I'm going to be running this back through the grommet, back there, back into the engine bay, and then through that hole right there, in order to mate up. This light bulb will stay just in the engine compartment for right now, until I get all the wiring sorted out as far as the blinkers go and the relays and everything. It's not going to hurt it. It's not a, I'll tape it up to where it's not up against anything or not going to burn anything. Like I said, I don't really want a side marker light, but I'll keep it in case I ever decide to replace it with an LED and put a little LED side marker light up or something, but probably not ever going to, truthfully. Of course, I'll have to tie up the end for the fog lamps, since I'm going to probably get some LED fog lamps to go back on it. This bumper will be a short, stubby bumper I'm going to make that will end about right here, maybe a little bit further out, maybe right here, but that'll be about as far out as it goes. So if I do put some more fog lamps back on it, I'll either have to build a bar going up over here and up on the bar. I don't really like that look, so I would probably just put it up on the windshield, something like that, and have them go in there. I am going to put some fog lamps on it somewhere, because it's good to have auxiliary lights. But that's kind of where it's at. So I'll conclude the video, and I will probably post a second video that will just show the lights working and things like that, and show the finished product. I did scratch my paint here when I was dremeling that hole out, so I'm going to, of course I need to paint that all black anyway to make sure there's no rust anyway, so that'll be fine. That'll get covered up. The light has a lip on it that will cover over that as well. Put my light back in, and then those will be done. I'll have turn signals in the front again. That's it. So the next video I'll post will be of me making the bumper, and I'm not sure when that'll be, probably in the next week or so. But once I get that done, it'll be on to suspension and actual moving parts that will actually make the Jeep perform better before I go off-roading this fall on some of my planned trips. Thanks, guys.